Hello to all. My name is Corey, and I want to share briefly my experiences when I was once an active member of Jehovah's Witnesses. And the funny thing is, I actually just quit. you know, um, yeah, fairly recently, I sent a letter in, pretty much giving my resignation, if you will. Yeah, I pretty much just put it all in writing how I've been feeling and just kind of got out of it. And there was a lot of things that kind of pressure me to just hurry and get that out the way because it was just too much going on. But just to share my experiences with you guys, this is a picture of me. This is at the headquarters in Bethel, New York, when they had it in Brooklyn at the main headquarters, where the governing body dwells and so forth. That's me sitting in one of the lobbies at Bethel in New York. I got to see the entire facility and I got to meet a lot of Bethelites and so forth. Actually, I had a good experience when I was there and whatnot, just as far as getting out, meeting people and talking and so forth. But to kind of go into perspective of my story, I'm on one of my old Facebooks and I'm going through a lot of the things when I was a witness to kind of let you guys know my story and why I am no longer an active member. So let me kind of find the photos, and I pull these up as proof to let everybody know that I'm not some troll or some evil satanic apostate just out to slander and bring harm, to an innocent thing, because if it was that, I wouldn't even have much to say about it. But to kind of go into my story, my Bible teacher pretty much knocked on my door. I took upon to study, and I had so much free time on my hands, so I was studying like every day, hours a day. So when you have so much time on your hands, and you're willing and you're reaching out like that, I was studying like daily. So I progressed through the Bible Teach book. When they had the yellow Bible Teach book, it's different now. But when I was coming in, it was the yellow Bible Teach book. And then I progressed through the God's Love book, the two study material sources that they use, all based off pretty much the doctrines of Jehovah's Witnesses, and you use the Bible to kind of tie in together the doctrines to pretty much push the narratives and so forth. So I progressed through both of these books in a matter of a month and a half, about a month and 2 weeks. Yeah, I was real smart. I progressed quickly. I caught on fast. Then I started attending the Kingdom Halls. I started dressing up, cutting off my beard since they say no beards, and commenting every time at the meetings. I'm talking some pretty good comments. you know, volunteering. Quickly became an unbaptized publisher. So, I'm already knocking on doors, of course, at that point with my Bible teacher, with pioneers and, auxiliary pioneers, regular pioneers, all of the stuff that witnesses pretty much know what I'm talking about. The field service, where you got to go out into the ministry and knock on doors and so forth and, promote the religion. So I'm doing that. I'm studying my kingdom ministry. I'm doing the Sunday meetings. I'm doing the Wednesday meetings. I'm doing theocratic ministry school. I'm giving talks and parts and, helping out with presentations. I'm holding microphones, getting privileges, got sisters looking at me. But I was doing it all, man. I was so willing and eager and just had this strong love for Jehovah God. So I'm just doing it all, I really didn't care. I just wanted to do it. And the thing that I think draws most people to Jehovah's Witnesses isn't the fact that, it's the truth, because later on I figured out that it's not the truth, which I'll get into in a minute. But let me find a good illustration to kind of emphasize my point. It's the pictures, man. I really feel like the number one source that really brings people into this faith is the pictures. Like, they'll bring out a teach book and they'll start showing you these beautiful pictures of a paradise earth. You start seeing happy people. You see dead loved ones coming back to life. You start seeing people with animals, which is my favorite, is the lion. So imagine having a lion as a pet and you walking around through paradise and it's beautiful. It's nice, food for everybody. Everybody looking like they're vegetarian and vegans, which I actually like and want to try soon for health purposes. But, just a happy world. Because every time we look at the news, it's depressing. So it's kind of like they prey off the number one thing that everybody wants: happiness, peace, to live forever, and peace, and be in harmony with animals and with the earth around us, and knowing the truth about everything, and having a relationship with God and his son Jesus. So they take the very basis of what majority of humans would like to have a heart, you know, and it gets you. That's what hooks you to it. That's what appeals to you. If you subtract the whole illustrations and the pictures and the paradise aspect and how it ties in with God's promises that are in the Bible, you will not join. That's the thing that really appeals to people, because you really want that, you know. And then the rest kind of like just follow suit. So that's the thing that drawed me in to what we called at one point in time the truth. Y'all know what I'm talking about. We always called it the truth. And whenever something was wrong or excuse was, hey, it's new light. Y'all know all of these words and how we always sin stress and proper sin stress Jehovah. And I mean, the brainwashing was so real, man. But when you in it, you don't see that. You just see happiness and smiles and everybody's so nice to you when you first coming in. It's like the bittersweet fruit. You just taste the sweet part. You don't get bitter until like after, a while. So anywho, that's what drew me in. It really was the pictures of paradise, man. Like, we all want that, So I got baptized at a special day assembly. I believe it was June the 3rd, 2012. I was studying before then. So I've been pretty much involved all the way into now. I've just quit like a few days ago, maybe a week or two. I think probably a week now. But like Lily just quit. And it's just a lot of stuff to like try to get into in so little time, but I'm trying to go through these pictures too. That's me at Patterson Bethel, you know what I'm saying? They got like 3 different branches with, the Bethel houses and so forth for the the extremely committed witnesses go, where you live on a campus. It's like a college campus, if you will, but they don't encourage college. But it's like a, just an all day long witness academy, if you will, just constant promoting of the doctrine, constant, just being involved in that environment, So I got to pretty much, see all of the facilities. I got to meet Bethelites, as you see here in this picture. That's me. The second from the far left, that's my friend Chris at the far left. And we went out with some newcomers that was interested, which is the further 2 on the right, and the guy in the middle is a Bethelite. And they was touring us around the facilities and so forth. I got to see a lot, man, as a witness. I wasn't just like your, average. I seen a lot. I've met a lot of people. I've seen the very top, I've seen where the governing body dwells. I've seen it all, man. So I don't speak out of ignorance. I've progressed quickly, and I've seen a lot in my experiences of being a witness, probably more than some have seen being in it for like 40, 50 years, But man, I was committed. I've seen it all. I've been to all the Bethel houses. I've traveled. As you can see here, I got all my pictures when I was on tours there. I've met people that I've known that once went to my Kingdom Hall that are now living there. I've seen it all, man. So it's nothing that, it's pretty new to me, I'll say. But, once you get baptized, I'll say it's kind of like that's when the fruit turns bitter, because then you start realizing things that you haven't been taught at the doors. See, at the doors, when we minister, we're taught how to do these things. And when you kind of really break it down, all we're doing is pretty much advertising organizations' doctrines. It's not really scriptural, because we'll use the Bible to try to create the narrative that we're teaching the scriptures, but it's not necessarily the case, because we can't just go to the doors with just the Bible. We have to bring Watchtower magazines and Awake magazines, and then recite the scriptures that are based off of those magazines, because we're pushing the particular agenda for that talking point or for that particular, issue. If it's about, hey, like a Watchtower about suffering, we're going to have to use scriptures about suffering to tie that together with that magazine to try to get into your hands so that you can start to read the biased literature based off our interpretation or doctrines. So we're pretty much promoting the doctrines of the governing body, the group of men, the elites that rule the entire organization, the infrastructure. the headquarters, the inspired men, because every group got to have some special men that put it all in place. Yep, and that's the United States Branch Committee right there. These men, and I've seen this at the Bethel house at the main headquarters. Um, yeah, so pretty much like I said, I was a committed witness. I was doing it all and everything, but I just started to notice things that wasn't exactly adding up. And it happened right after I got baptized at a special day assembly, and all my friends was there, and we all just having a cool little time. You get happy when you get baptized because you're like, hey, I could date a sister now. When you're young, you want to date, and I wasn't that young. I was over 18. But they'd be like, oh, don't worry about dating, just go out and service and keep teaching the good news to work on it anyway. Just worry about paradise. You can get a wife then. Ha 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 ha. They kind of discourage dating. Honestly, they really do, especially when you're coming out of the world. They see you as newly converted, so they don't want you to date after a few years, even after they still was kind of hating on me. But that's a whole nother story. But you just started noticing stuff is not exactly scriptural, at all. Like, you like, hold on. So I'm just showing these pictures as I go through my story to kind of let you know I was fully committed, man. I've seen it all. I known sisters. I didn't seen the ritualistic practices that take place in the Bethel facilities. Like, you got to walk around the table a certain amount of times. You got to set the forks and spoons this certain way. You got to fix the bed a certain way. It's very ritualistic, and it's like it has to be done that way, or you'll pretty much get, some counsel about it. That's me again, one of my friends there. Those are TVs all over the place in the main kitchen. The halls. That's me by the wall with the government for peace sign. The kingdom, right? Those are the stands where you can stand on a corner somewhere and pretty much pass out the literature and so forth. That's me at all the different kingdom halls in other states. My friends and so forth. Us out to eat, having a good old time. Me at other kingdom halls. Yeah, so as you get the point, me even taking family there and getting all of them involved, Like I said, I was the perfect example of what you would call the conditioned witness. That's just eager to please, eager to do whatever, let me be used. In Jehovah's organization, I was doing it all. So you kind of get the overall foundation of it right there, right? But like I tell you before, if everybody asks what draws people, it's you at a weak point in your life. You're mentally unstable at the time. A lot of mentally uh hurt people tend to draw to it because, like I said, the paradise, man. Them pictures get to you. Like, we don't realize how important and strong images are to us. Pictures they highlight so much within our minds, and we can kind of visualize the pictures and really put it into play. Like, you think about some of your dead loved ones being back in front of you. Think about pets and animals and just everything you can have in front of you in this perfect world where everything is just great, and God had his relationship with you and his son. Like, come on now. That's what get us. It was funny. I still believe in all of the promises. I just don't believe in interpretation through man's religion when it comes to these things. And we'll get to that in a minute. So just showing you that, I was pretty much the great example of a witness. But just a lot of stuff that just didn't add up to me. And it's like you will start having this period that we like to call as XJWs, the doubting period. And they'll make it like, oh, Satan's getting you, and don't look at no material. They're all satanic and apostates out to get Jehovah's organization. They're evil. They're bad. They're crazy. They're just out to get us. Don't look at no information but the JW broadcast and the JW.org website. Read our literature, yada, yada. That's called brainwashing. Because you can only read the material that are obviously going to be biased toward putting us in a favorable light. So it's never going to really promote the truth about the organization or tell you the very essence of it. It's always going to just push to you anything that shows it in a favorable light. Think about it. It's like politicians do. They're only going to keep showing you all of the good about this politician and promote them in the best way and keep you in this illusion of how it's so great. But then you realize when you really look into the official story, they're not exactly good people in most cases. And that's kind of like how it is. They only want you to look at their material because they can control the narrative, which is how the mainstream media does it, right? But when you start really looking and you stop being that fearful, letting these people like control you through fear mongering, however you pronounce that word, but control you through fear tactics and strategic, type of just things to get your mind to always do what they say. But just a lot of stuff that stood out to me that just didn't exactly add up when you put it toward biblical proceeding and scriptures. Like, they tell us about paganism. That's why we don't do birthdays and holidays. But then you realize that wedding rings are extremely pagan and the roots of it, like crazy, right?